Hi. I hope you're all doing well and staying safe during this coronavirus time. Um, Please don't be looking for things to be normal again. Uh, for a believer and anyone else, things are not going to be returning to normal. So even though you really want to go to that favorite restaurant or the gym, I really want to go to the gym and go swimming. Things are not going to be returning to normal, I don't believe. And if they do, it'll be a pretty short time. So, one thing I want to talk about briefly was states. Are there safe states? Are there safer places to live in the U.S. right now for the next year to 5 years? So I think there might be, and you can decide for yourself. But I have this correlation. It was so interesting that so I moved out of California because I felt it wasn't safe anymore. Geographically, also politically, ideologically, wasn't feeling safe. So the Lord instructed me to move more to the middle of the United States, and I had this map, which I'll put up here, of it's the U.S. Navy map that they came up with in 1979. It was about Planet X when it possibly hits the Earth or comes near the Earth. Now, this can be Planet X, the Goblin Planet, Nibiru, Planet Number 9. So I guess there's some, there's been a lot of research and a lot of stuff on it. There's other videos you can watch on that. I'm not an expert on it. U.S. Navy map of the safer states. So you can see that they were projecting that when this hit the Earth or the orbit of it, when it comes by the Earth, if it causes cataclysmic events, the coastlines are pretty much destroyed, and the Louisiana, basin and that all. And so there was some safer states that looked a little bit safer. There are also some a little bit safer states in terms of, they're not on the Reproductive Act, 9-month abortion act, and, so their ideologies are going to be lining up more with the Lord's ideologies. Not that they're all good people or anything. I'm not saying anything about that. And I'm not telling you to move. I just wanted to show you this little video and my experience. So anyway, I also had two very prophetic warnings. One was about New York City, and that was a dream I had in January 22nd, 2019. That was exactly 1 week after they adopted the Reproductive Act for the 9-month abortion. And then I had a prophetic word for LA and also California and the San Andreas Fault, and that was March 19th, 2019, when the fig tree split in LA. And both of these, New York and LA and California, I felt there was a grace period, like a year of grace. So what's interesting to me is that on right around March 19th, in terms of California, in LA, a lot harder to move out of LA. Definitely a lot more difficult to live in LA. And then New York, of course, they've been devastated by the coronavirus. So I feel like the grace period is kind of over. But I believe this summer there'll be a window of opportunity if you'd like to move out of one of the states that might not be as safe. Not that we're safe ultimately from anything except for in Jesus. We're only safe in Him. But there are safer places, I think, to live, places where you could be more protected and provided. So where I live right now, it's been awesome. We haven't had a total shutdown. We've been able to go freely to the grocery store. There's no lines. There's been toilet paper. So just things like that, if there's going to be more and more, the next virus coming, and the next catastrophe and the big San Andreas Fault earthquake. You know, do you want to be in a city with millions of people and have to go through that? So anyway, that gave me the correlation of the safe states when they showed the coronavirus map. The states that had the least amount of coronavirus death and the least amount of regulation. So those two things came up on a map, and when I saw the states that had the least amount of regulation and the least amount of coronavirus deaths, it's very interesting that a few of the states, 5 or 6, seem to be the same states that are the safe states in the U.S. Navy map. So that was very interesting, and that prompted me to post this video. Of course, you need to pray about it because you might end up needing to be in a certain place to help people or whatever. I definitely was called out of California, and I wasn't called to be in that next period of time. And I do believe that big earthquake is coming soon, and I had that San Andreas Fault prophetic word. So anyway, that's just a short video to, if you feel led to move out of a state, perhaps it's Michigan, perhaps it's a state, perhaps it's Massachusetts. They were pretty hard hit, and their ideologies are really not lining up with the Lord. Same with Virginia. If you are Washington is a big one. So if you're feeling led to move, I would just get ready to move. You know, get your stuff ready, get your things ready, and move this summer. Move to a possible safer zone. So you won't have to maybe go through some things you may not have to go through. And one way I can kind of look at this too is I was talking with someone about the Holocaust, and so there were prophetic warnings for people to get the Jews to get out of Germany. And there's a ton of information on this. I won't go into it, but there were prophetic prophets, Jewish prophets, probably Christian prophets too, telling the Jews that they needed to leave Germany. And what I didn't know at that time was, I did know that certain states were accepting the Jews, but I didn't know that Palestine was open. Their borders were open to Jews. Now, you wouldn't really want to leave Germany if you had a really nice jewelry business and you had a nice place to live. You wouldn't really want to leave to go into the, Palestine, where it was more like a desert and everything. But, sorry, I'm trying to get the glare. There's such a glare on my thing, and I can't figure out. Oh, well, we can make do. So anyway, you wouldn't really want to leave your cushy life. And, frankly, when I left California, I didn't want to leave my life. I loved my life. I loved it by the beach, and I was so happy. But, prophetically, I really felt as a prophet I needed to leave that place. So did God did God ordain for the Jews to die in the Holocaust? Well, yes. I mean, it was an ordained time that we don't all understand. But were people able to get out? Yes, they were. So did God want everyone to suffer? Were they able to escape some of the suffering? And I guess that's what I'm saying to you now. Like, there's going to be places where the beast system under the Antichrist is going to be a lot worse. And once that happens, you won't be able to escape. And there'll be places that are harder to leave. So, I guess, just that being said, if you feel led, please don't just rest up when the restrictions start to lighten. Get yourself packed up and get yourself to possibly a safer zone if God so leads you. Okay, so that's that, and stay tuned for the next video about the coming, just some thoughts about the next plague. All right, take care, be safe, and don't do normal. Okay, it's time to do whatever Jesus leads you to do because we're in the end times. Okay.